All right, so how's it going, guys? Testing. Let's make sure the sound is working. If you guys are new and can hear me, appreciate if you hit that like button and comment that you can hear me. Appreciate that. But let's get started here. It is 1:30, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna go over Bitcoin. I'm gonna talk about Jasmine. It definitely looks like Jasmine continues to break down, and I want to get into that, and then we'll take requests. So let's get into Bitcoin first. And I also like to open Bookmap to see where the liquidity lies on Bitcoin, so we'll do that as well. So let me get Bookmap loaded, and Bitcoin is obviously below 20,000. So if we can't get back above 20,000, it's only below 20,000 by about $20. But if it can't get back above $20,000, then then we'll have to see the next support would my target right now is 19,300. So if it doesn't get above 20,000, that would be the next measured move for the rising wedge that we had on Bitcoin. So let's see where we're headed. So there is some liquidity. I have to zoom out a little bit. So at 19.5, you have liquidity right here. My target was 19.3. There's a lot of liquidity, even more than 19.5. There's a lot of liquidity here at 19,000. So yeah, it is. There's not liquidity at 19,750, which is lower than where we are. We're right now. We're basically at 20,000 bucks. If we zoom out a little more, 18.5 has a lot of liquidity. I think that was the last. No, the last one was 17.5. There's more liquidity at $18,000. So basically, every $500 down, we have a lot of liquidity, which means because there's no liquidity up here above 20K, tells me that we're probably gonna keep going lower. And 15K is still on the table. I've been saying this for probably at least over a month now, maybe 2 months. 15,000 is the golden spot for where the most liquidity is. So that's probably at least where we're gonna go. And now there's even more liquidity than there's at 15,000, at 14,000, or maybe the same amount. Before that was not the case. So even 14 to 15,000, it's looking like that's where we are going to head in the next few months. I would not be surprised at all if that happened with Bitcoin, if we made a new low, and if this bear market continued, because technically, usually bear markets go from year to year end. So they usually start or end in December or December or January usually. So I'm going to close that. It's still looking very bearish according to Bookmap. Micro and macro time frames. So let's go over to Bookmap now. Price action. I'm sorry, the Bitcoin price action, and kind of see what's going on. So let me move this over here like that. And so you're in the basically on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. You're in what I call a rising wedge, and you broke to the downside. My measured move for the rising wedge was 19,300. So that is still on the table. I think that's going to get hit, and I think we're probably going to even go lower than that. You could also, if you really zoom in right here, I'm just seeing this now, but this is probably what we would also call another rising wedge on the smaller time frames, or just a smaller rising wedge than what we had the first time. So I'm going to draw it really quick, then I'm going to have to move the lines so they make sense. And we'll get the measure move for this one too. So basically, this is a continuation pattern that you are going to keep going lower. You take it from the top wick to the bottom wick. And your measured move would be, well, I don't know, maybe that's not a valid one. The measured move, you're already below that measured move. But that is another rising wedge, so that is bearish right now. I'm still looking at 19.3 as our next target for Bitcoin. Below 19,300. If we go back to the daily time frame, we can see where we have support below that. Which there's not a lot of support below that, but let's look. So you obviously have support where you bounced off of a few weeks ago at 19.3, which is what I said, and then you had a wick low all the way down to 17.5. So that's a local low. So 17.5 is also going to be another area of support. I don't see a lot of support. There's small supports at like 18.5 and 18,000, but I don't see major macro support until below 19.3. I don't see major support until 17,500, which was that accumulation low, or that's the low. So 17.5 is going to be very good support, but I still don't see Bitcoin holding that. Based on what Bookmap is telling me where the liquidity is at right now on Bitcoin. So right now I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I'm looking at 19.3 as the next target, and then if that doesn't hold on the macro time frame on the daily chart, 17,500 or 17,600 would be the next area of support. If we don't hold that, we'd have to zoom way out and look at the next supports below that from like a few years ago, or about 2 years ago. So if you guys are new, I appreciate if you hit that follow button on TikTok. If you guys have requests for coins, let me know. I'm going to go over to Jasmine now. Because Bitcoin looks bearish, I'm not bullish on Jasmine. I haven't been bullish on Jasmine in a long time. I was hopeful here, saying you're in a falling wedge or symmetrical triangle, saying if you broke to the upside, the measure move target would be 1.7 cents. You came nowhere near that. That would have been an 86% move to the upside. And that little wick you had to 1.2 cents a few times, if anything, that was a bull trap. I am looking like for this to continue down. 8/10 of a support is the next support, which was that local low. You could even say it was a double bottom, and then you got a slightly higher low there. So if you don't hold 8/10 of a penny, then it's going to fall off a cliff in my opinion. But 8/10 of a penny is very strong support for Jasmine. I don't know. Every time I refresh this chart, my lines move. But 8/10 of a penny is the next support for Jasmine. If that doesn't hold, it's very bearish. I already did a video on it earlier today, so I'm not going to dive in too deep with it. But I'm looking for this to 8/10 of a penny. You have to see if it holds. If it doesn't hold, I think I said 7/10 of a penny was the lowest I've ever seen Jasmine. So that's where I would expect it. If it doesn't hold 7/10 of a penny, then you can definitely expect it to probably go to half a penny again. So that's Bitcoin and Jasmine in a nutshell. Most coins are going to follow what Bitcoin does. You might have a few outliers, but that's what most coins will do. One coin I do want to look at is PMOM. It had that major pump last Sunday due to KuCoin Goop trying to pump it. So in 1 minute, it went from like $2 or $1.50 all the way up to $7.50, and then the next minute it came back down to $2. And ever since Sunday now, it's been going from $2 all the way down back to 126. So it's if you bought that pump, you would have gotten wrecked. If you shorted that pump, you would have made a lot of money. So I mean, it's down almost 50% from last Sunday, 35% from last Sunday. Even if you bought it $2 and shorted it. So Piedmont is still now. I think the market cap's probably $3 or $4 million. So, but those are the coins I wanted to look at today. If there's any other requests, let me know, and I will look at them. How's it going, Alexander? Hopefully you're having a great day. I hope your dad gets better. AirSwap, is that a coin? What is AirSwap? Let me see if I can find AirSwap. AirSwap. AST is on Binance. Let me see what this chart looks like. I'm gonna let's look at the weekly chart on AirSwap. I don't see a lot of liquidity here. I can tell you that right now. You could say that was trying to be a cup and handle, but because now you made a lower low, I wouldn't say that's a cup and handle. But that's how cup and handles form. I think if Bitcoin would have gone sideways, this could have actually played out to the upside. But now, if you're just looking at the RSI alone, you see the weekly's coming down. That's not good. You got the daily that's trying to go up again. The 4 hour is almost trying to roll over here. It looks like it's about to. 1 hour is struggling, but definitely still has momentum to the upside. So 1 hour looks good, but the 4 hour chart is struggling. The daily chart is trying to go back up, but still, in my opinion, bearish. And the weekly chart is in a downtrend. So on the macro timeframes, when Bitcoin's struggling, I would look at the macro timeframes. I don't like what I'm seeing right now from this. And if we just zoom way out, it's been in a massive downtrend ever since it came out. I mean, ever since that major pump. Yes, you had a little pump here, which was probably a few 100% gain, but overall, it's still a massive downtrend. When you zoom out, if you just want to do this, that's your resistance line. You have to break that to be bullish again on AirSwap. Until you break, as of today, right now, until you break 44 cents, which is 400% higher, you're not bullish on AirSwap. That's just my opinion. That's what I'm seeing in the charts. Just for the heck of it, I'll set an alert at 40 cents when we get close. If it's bullish, if it gets up to 40 cents again, I might be interested in looking at it just to see where it's at. But AST right now looks pretty bad. You guys can't even see the chart. I'm sorry for that on TikTok. But let me get this out of the way. So yeah, AirSwap has to break this down sloping resistance line. If it can't do that, it's not bullish to me. You've had 2 touches of this resistance line since this huge rally to start out, and to me, it does not look good. So that's AirSwap for you in a nutshell. Yeah. So let me make sure on TikTok I didn't miss anything. What kind of course did you finish that you learn all this information? Can you share? I learned from YouTube. I'm in a trading group right now, but I didn't take any courses. I guess in the training group they gave me a free hour course, but I already knew a lot of it when I joined. But I guess it was a good refresher. I watched a Crypto Lifer. That's the training course I'm in. That's not really a course, but it's like a group that does charts and stuff. He goes live every day, so if you're trying to learn, I would say that's a good place to start. Can I look at BitGert? I can try to see if I can find a chart for it. So let me go over to... If you guys can tell me the tickers for these coins, it'd be easier than just telling me the coin, because sometimes you type in the name, it doesn't come up. BITGERT. Is it BRSC coin? I don't know what the ticker is. So you have to tell me the tickers if you want me to look at the coins. I can look. Let me see if I can find this other one. DUAC. It's on Trader Joe. DCAU. My bad. DCAU. Okay, I don't know what. So there's no liquidity for this. This is the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily chart. Daily chart, yeah. Let's just go to the 4-hour chart, see if there's any volume. No. So look at all these gaps and candles. You know, it's not like the stock market where it closes at nighttime. There should not be gaps and candles. That tells me there's no liquidity. It's hard to do TA on a coin when the volume's probably like 10,000 a day. I don't know, but that's kind of what it looks like right now. I can try to do TA like on the daily and weekly, but I can't really do the 4-hour because there's no volume. Weekly chart is sloping down already, so that's not a good sign, and the daily chart is as well. So overall, very quickly, does not look good to me. If you go back to the weekly chart, again, massive downtrend, and it's probably a scam coin just based on what the chart looks like. I should do more research before I say that, but it doesn't look very good to me. Obviously, whatever I say is not financial advice, but it doesn't look like a good investment to me based on what the chart looks like. So that is, I guess, Dragon Crypto something. Yeah. So I don't know what this is, but if this is the right chart, it does not. There's no volume, so it'd be hard to trade this with a lot of money. Appreciate the follow. So let me go back here, and someone wants to look at BICO, which I think we've looked at before. BICO is on Coinbase, so let's use Coinbase chart. Okay, well, BICO's at 56 cents, and when it came on Coinbase, it was at $22. I'm just going to do something really quick, and I want to know what the market cap for BICO is. So it's saying the market cap is is that right? $100 million? Is that accurate? I'm not sure if that's accurate. 886,000. Yeah, I think that says 100 million. So that's crazy. That means the market cap up here is like 200x that. So maybe I'm not reading that right. But this is, again, massive downtrend. Still looks just as bad as the other coins we just looked at. Weekly chart's in a massive downtrend. 3-day chart is in a massive downtrend. Actually, it's trying to reverse that on the 3-day chart. The daily chart, though, is trying to actually go parabolic, at least on the RSI. But it's not hard for a coin to go parabolic after it's down like 99% or 95% from the all-time high. So the daily chart is trying to go for a rally, but you can see every time it's rallied, it's made a lower high. The previous high way back here was $1. The next high was 75 cents. And as of right now, the current high is 64 cents with the coin being at 56 cents right now. So if it doesn't break 64 cents, that's a lower high. You also have a sell signal now on the daily chart because we are on the daily chart right now. So to me, BICO does not look good, does not look bullish. I hate to say short it when it's down this much, but it doesn't, I mean, if that's a lower high, the trend would tell you to short it because it's still going down. So I don't know what the market cap is. I don't know if 100 million is accurate, if I read that wrong. But the chart does not look good for BICO on the Coinbase chart. But I guess if you're looking at macro long term, and if you like BICO, you could start investing it or dollar cost averaging into it. But if you're trying to trade it, I would probably not be long right now, unless you're looking out for a few years out or a few months out at least. So that is Bytego in a nutshell. The downtrend is most definitely still intact. So, you could, it doesn't look good right now. It's a gaming coin. Game supposed to release soon. Thanks for checking. No problem. Yeah, a lot of gaming coins are getting absolutely decimated right now. Let me show you something. I'm not going to look at Elon one, but this is how I'm going to get to the chart I was going to look at. So, BlockFi is a coin that I invested in, and it's supposed to be a gaming coin. And this is just the chart. And yes, I pretty much lost everything on it unless in the next bull run it comes back. But gaming coins, even when they just launch or about to launch their coin or their game, they just go down. So like there's a huge rally and most gaming coins just go to zero. And I didn't get out in time. So I only put a few $100 in. But overall, a lot of gaming coins are not going to survive because there's so many of them out there. So I guess if you're looking at macro long term, maybe you should just be shorting these coins. But yeah, so. Actually, Fear was one of the good coins that actually did really well in the gaming industry for a few months before it really tanked. What is Fear at now? Because I put a few $100 in Fear as well back when I used. So it's at 15 cents. The all-time high was at $4. I thought about selling, then I didn't. But yeah, Fear is probably another one that won't come back. But it was one of the better coins, one of the more well-known ones at least. I think at least. So. Microcap probably is now around $1 million on Fear. So I don't know. A lot of gaming coins are struggling right now. In the bull market, I think some of them will come back. It says the market cap's $2.3 million, so still extremely low if you look at the grand scheme of things. Mona, M-O-N-A. So Mana's on Coinbase. There's not really enough data to look at anything above the 3-day chart on the RSI. You can kind of see that little thing just got started. If we move to the daily is curving down. Let's see how the 4 hour is looking. 4 hour is an uptrend, has room to go. 1 hour is about to reverse too. So daily chart does not look good. But the 4 hour and 1 hour look like they have momentum. But like all the other coins I just looked at, this isn't a downtrend until it's not. So until it breaks that line with a daily candle close above it, not just a wick, you can't be bullish on this. And the place you would at least have to beat would be basically $900. Right now it's at 800. So it has to go up another 12 to 15%, I believe, with my math I just did in my head. If it closes daily candle $900 or higher, to me that's bullish. But if it doesn't do that, then it's not bullish on Mana. So you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'll set an alert at $900. If it breaks that, I'll do 880. If it breaks $880, I'll look at it again. But otherwise, I probably won't trade it or anything. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with it. See if it breaks a downtrend or not. So that's Mana. It looks like it actually has volume, so that's a good thing. Looks pretty new. But again, it's still a massive downtrend, so still not a good point to buy on Mana. Thoughts on Veracity? I don't know anything about that, but I can at least look at the chart. I'm assuming it's VRA. I'm pretty sure I've looked at this before. Maybe I haven't. Yes, I have. We had this resistance way up here, which you'd probably move up a little bit higher. But maybe I was looking at the daily chart. Then I also said that this was support. I believe I said this was support here at 005. You most definitely did not hold that. Gotta get rid of this for you guys. You most definitely did not hold that. And you're continuing lower. Let me go back to the daily chart on VRA. Yeah, because look, back here you had a local low at that 0.007. So 7/10 of a penny. And then you also had another local low down here. Overall, this is still in a downtrend. Really, if you don't hold this local low here, the next one is all the way down here at, it can't be in the negatives. It'd be right, I have to zoom in a little bit. Well, your next support would probably be this local high right here, which, if you guys can't see it, would be 35, and right now you're at 47. So 35 is the next area of support, which was once resistance, which would now be support on the way back down, or at least it should be. It was only resistance for about a few days, but still, that would be your next support. If you don't hold that on VRA, You could really, you had a double top here, which was obviously resistance a long time ago at 1.5 or 1.6. So 1.5 would be your next support. If you don't hold, 3.5 would be a huge drop. So it's going basically back to where it came from. If Bitcoin really goes to 15K, a lot of these coins are probably going to make new lows, actually. So it's unfortunate to say, but I guess if you're okay with shorting the market, you can make a lot of money in the next few months, because based on what I've seen with Bitcoin, it does not look like the low is in for Bitcoin on the macro time frames. Based on if you guys were at the beginning of the live, if you guys are on YouTube, you guys can go back when the stream is over. Or probably even when you're watching the stream, actually, if you want to watch it from the beginning, I went over Bitcoin. I went over why I think Bitcoin is not bullish right now, and based on not indicators, but basically I used Bookmap to look at it. So go back to the beginning of the video if you're on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, go to my YouTube channel. You guys can rewatch it. But I'm not bullish on Bitcoin right now. And my YouTube, if you guys are on TikTok, is the same, Crypto Boss Andrew. What indicators are those bars? Are you talking about the buy and sell indicator, which I don't really use, but it's kind of interesting to see what the trading view thinks of it. The one I use the most is the stock RSI, STOCH RSI. That's one I rely heavily on. Then these lines are like support and resistance lines. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking about. Bitcoin analysis, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I went over it. I'm not bullish on it right now. There's a lot more buys at $14,000, $15,000 than there is at above 20K. There's not many buys up there, or not many sells up there, I should say. So, let me know. Let me go back check. BTRST, some good buy prices are coming soon for everything. Do I have a Twitter? I do. I never use it. I couldn't find you. It's probably not linked to my. I don't really use it for crypto, but maybe I should. Maybe I'll post it on my TikTok bio tonight, and I can just make a new one for crypto. I should probably do that actually. Yeah, I'll do that tonight. So if I do, I'll post it in my Telegram group. So BTRST is currently at $2. This was another request from YouTube. BTRST is at $2. Let's go to the weekly chart. Move it so you guys on TikTok can see it. Weekly chart, trying to curve back up, but hasn't really done it so with what's it called? With confidence, yeah, we'll just say that. The daily chart is already starting to curve down, so that doesn't look good. The 4-hour chart can't go a lot lower, but definitely has a little more room to the downside, and the 1-hour chart is an uptrend. So overall, 1 hour and 4 hour look decent, especially the 1 hour. But the daily chart and 3-day chart, weekly and daily chart do not look bullish to me on BTRST. And I bet you, if we just zoom out to the daily time frame, I bet if we zoom out enough, we can see it's in a massive downtrend for the last few months until it's not. You have these small rallies, but they never break your previous high. And this thing fell off a cliff. Yeah. Again, you're in a massive downtrend on BTRST. So until you're not bullish. What was the all-time high on BTRST? The all-time high was just short of $50. So, and now you're at $2. So it's down 25 times what the all-time high was. So now it'd be what? If you got in at $2, it'd be a 25x back to the all-time high, basically, roughly. So, yep. Again, another coin that confirms that this is a bear market. The people that say this is not a bear market, it kind of blows my mind. BTRST, again, does not look bullish to me. Smaller time frames actually look like you could have a small rally continuing up, but larger time frames just tell you that you didn't break the previous high. If you zoom in, the previous high was $3.35. Right now, you're struggling to even break, what was the wick here? $3 was the last wick, and the previous one was $3.35. So that's a lower low, a lower high, I should say, on BTRST. As of right now, if you break 310 or whatever, then obviously you have a chance for a double top, or maybe you could reverse this downtrend. But until that happens, you're not bullish. So I'll set an alert at $3.10 30 cents, and if that happens, then maybe we can look at it again. But otherwise, it's another coin that is just not interesting to me. I'm just going to do it one time. So Bitcoin 60K this year. I don't think so. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll go back to Bitcoin, but I already went over this live stream. Year in a Rising, I'm going to do it quickly because I already went over this live stream. Year in a Rising, when you broke to the downside, my measure move is still 19,300. You have not hit that target. And if I don't know if I did the RSI. Did I do the RSI on Bitcoin yet? I don't know. Maybe not. Weekly charts in a downtrend. Just oh my God, look at this. So here's the thing. Weekly chart is starting to reverse to the downside. That has a lot more to go. I mean, a lot more. So I mean that the weekly chart on Bitcoin tells you, according to the RSI, first of all, you didn't break a previous high on the RSI. Second of all, you got a double top here on the RSI. Then you made a lower low. Then you made a lower low here again recently. And you just have a lot more room to downside. You're currently at 70 on the RSI. And the low is it can go as 0. The 4-hour chart. I'm sorry, let's go to the daily chart. Daily chart can't. I mean, daily chart's a little more downside. The 4-hour chart on Bitcoin has a little more downside. Not much. 1-hour chart is trying to curve up. But macro timeframes like the daily and weekly looks awful. Daily looks looks like it's close to a bottom, but Bitcoin, the weekly chart, does not look good. It just doesn't look good. And so 19.3 is at least where I think we'll have a little support on Bitcoin. But I also talked about earlier this live stream according to Bookmap that 14 to 15K is probably where we're headed in the next few months because that's where all the buy orders are, and that's usually where we go towards where all the liquidity is. So that's my Bitcoin analysis in a nutshell. They live in denial. I know they do. So appreciate the follow, Carrie. AMP coin thoughts. Well, I will look at AMP, but it's probably, again, in a downtrend, just like every other thing that we've looked at. Literally, every coin we've looked at today has been in a massive downtrend. This is a massive downtrend on the daily chart. It just is. If you're going to invest in something, AMP is actually a coin that might make some sense to invest in because it just might. It's actually a legitimate coin. But if you're going to invest in something, this is when you want to do it. And you want dollar cost average in the bear market. That's how you make a lot of money. But if you're trying to buy and trade it right now, and if you're going long on AMP, to me that's not a smart move unless it's like a day trade. If anything, I still think there's more downside. So I still think shorting is probably the best way to go if you're trading for like a swing trade or something. But AMP does not look good. Let's see if we can get the RSI in here. And the RSI on AMP on the weekly chart can't go much lower, so that's a good sign. Weekly chart has a little more downside. The 4-hour chart is in a downtrend, and the 1-hour chart is in a downtrend. So someone just joined. Victor, thank you for joining my Telegram group if you're in here. So yeah, AMP to me, not looking good, but I do think AMP is actually a legitimate investment long term. What's the market cap on AMP right now? Market cap on AMP is $500 million, I believe. So AMP, I like AMP. I don't love AMP long term, but I like it a lot more than some of these other coins we've looked at today. I like it more than Jasmy, that's for sure. So I like coins that you can earn income, like passive income, by staking it. So Tezos is one you can do that with XTZ. Another one you can do it with is obviously Ethereum when it comes out with the ETH 2.0. Although I'd rather hold Ethereum than Tezos, to be honest with you. I like Cardano too. I think my 3 investments in this next bull run, I'm going to keep it simple. And maybe I'll invest in some micro cap coins, but I won't put a lot of money in it. Like, my 3 main investments are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. This last bull run, I made a lot of money, but I also lost it really quickly because I didn't know what coins to invest in and when to sell them. So instead of trying to trade these microcap coins that are on like DEX tools and stuff, I'm probably just going to invest in those 3, and then maybe a few percent of my portfolio I'll put somewhere else. Because I'd rather just, make a lot of money over the course of a few years versus make it overnight. I just think that's the smartest way to do it. I learned the hard way that that's probably the best way to do it if you're trying to make money long term. Some people can trade it really well, but if you're trading coins that have no volume, it's really hard to know when to get in and out. If you're trading Bitcoin, it's a lot easier because everyone's trading Bitcoin. So, Ethereum low. What do I think the low will be on Ethereum? Wow, you asked that question 5 times. Jeez. All right, so let's go over to Ethereum. It's gonna depend on if Bitcoin goes to 14K or like if 18K is low, which I don't think it is, or if 10K is the low. It's all gonna depend. If Bitcoin goes back to $10,000, Ethereum's gonna go back to 300. That's just my opinion. Everyone thinks it's crazy that I think Ethereum could go to 300 bucks. I haven't really talked about it on here, but I know people think it's crazy to think that. That's when I first bought Ethereum was 300 bucks, and unfortunately I sold too early. I sold on like a double, but Ethereum could still go that low. The most recent low I believe was. Let me go back to the daily chart for Ethereum. I'm just gonna reset the chart really quick. That's not what I want to do. I want to remove drawings. And the most recent low for Ethereum was 900 bucks, basically, give or take a few bucks on the Coinbase chart. So that was when Bitcoin was like 17.5. So Bitcoin goes up 14K. For it to go to 300 bucks is not out of the question. I definitely think that would be the low. I think that'd be a problem if it goes below that. And if it goes anywhere near 300 bucks, you can best trust me that I'll be buying as much as I can because I would love to get 32 Ethereum again, and then this time hold on for a very long time until I think the next macro top is in at the next bull run, and then start to DCA out. But personally, I think you can make more money, especially if Ethereum goes back to 300 bucks. I think you can make a lot more money buying Ethereum at 300 bucks than you can make buying Bitcoin at 10K. Trust me, I'll be buying both of each, probably about the same amount of each. But I want to get back. My goal is 32 Ethereum in this bear market at least. And my goal is at least one Bitcoin in this bear market. That's what my goals are. And then I want to get like some Cardano. So, and then if I get to those goals, and then I'll start investing in micro cap coins again, maybe a few $1,000 here and there. But that's my goal for this next bull run. So you have a plan, set it out, write it down, and then execute it. So. Yearn Finance low. Maybe that's another coin I might put, $1,000 in and see what happens, especially if it goes back to below $1,000, which I'm not saying that's happening. Right now it's at $8,600. I think below 1,000 is probably unrealistic unless Bitcoin really goes to like to 10K. But even if that happens, I don't think YFI goes below 1,000 again. It's possible. It's what do you call it? It's an altcoin, so it could. The last low was $4,000. So I guess if Bitcoin really went to 10K, this actually probably would see $1,000. And if this saw $1,000, trust me, I'd probably buy a few of these at $1,000 if it went that low. I'll put an alert on 1,000 just in case it happens, but I don't anticipate it happening. But that'd be a really nice return if it went back to its all-time highs and it went to $1,000 first, because that's 100x. YFI is actually a coin I do like, but it's a very volatile coin. So YFI low, I can't ever tell. I'm not God. I don't know where the low is going to be, but I would assume Bitcoin is really going to go to 14 or 15K. This is probably going to go to 1 or 2K. And who knows? It could have a scam wick low on Coinbase to like $500, and if you have a buy order, it would get filled. And then you'd have a great price on YFI that you could hold for a year or two until the next top is in. So I do like YFI long term. Short term, I definitely think we have more downside on YFI, especially as Bitcoin on the weekly chart does not look bullish to me. Look at the weekly chart on Ethereum. Why do you see it going to 300? There's lots of volume at $700. Sorry, bro, just joined. Do you think Bitcoin will keep over the coming days? You think Bitcoin will keep over the coming days? What does that mean? Dropping. Keep dropping over the coming days? Well, yes, I do. If you are on YouTube, you guys can go back and watch the beginning of my stream. I've talked about it. Bitcoin does not look good. There's a lot of buy orders at $14,000, $15,000. Just a quick recap on that. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin short term or long term. Not, at least not until the next halving, which I think is like a year and a half away or something like that. Appreciate the follow. Someone asked about Ethereum. Well, that's just where I know Ethereum had a lot of support at $300. So, and maybe that's partially because that's where I want to go. But if you think about it, it went down to $900 when Bitcoin was 17.5. So Bitcoin went to 14K or something like that. Maybe it doesn't hit 500. Maybe it hits 600. But I think 300 would probably be the lowest it goes, unless Bitcoin has a capitulation well below $10,000, which I don't really see Bitcoin really staying below $1,000 for more than a few hours, to be honest with you. But I guess a lot of people said that about 20K. So Let's go, if we just look at the weekly chart on Ethereum and go back to the good old days when it was like $100 and you could accumulate a lot of them, which would have been way back here, I guess. Right. It would have been, that was $400 to 417. So I guess that was also a high. So you could say maybe $400 would be the a high. Yeah, so $400 is probably more likely realistic than 300. I guess just looking at the chart, that's where you had a resistance, so that'd probably be support on the way down. So $400 is probably more realistic than 300, but even $400 is I would say anything macro long term, anything below $1,000 on Ethereum is a great buy. I mean, $500 you could buy 30 Ethereum. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to do that math in my head. If Ethereum was $500 again, or say it goes back to the $400 like I want to, and you want to get 32 ETH, that's only $13,000. If it went to like just above $400, that's $13,000 for 32 ETH. That's not that crazy. And then, yeah, I think $400. I guess so. $400 in my opinion is more realistic than 300. But I still think $400 is on the table. Then whatever it is, $300 or $400, I still think that area is probably. Am I minting? I don't even know what Utes is, so I'm not minting Utes. I need to go back and XYO. You like Cosmos? Yes, Cosmos Atom is good. I hope it does go to 300. I hope so too. That'd be like literally a dream for I think a lot of people. But the problem is if it goes to 300, not a problem, but if it goes to $300, everyone's going to be buying it. So it's unlikely it really stays there for very long. Do I forecast my targets days, weeks, months, and out using? I don't use Gone time analysis or anything like. I don't use Gone fans or anything like that. I mean, obviously everyone's trying to forecast where it's going to go, but you can get measured moves from like falling wedges and all that stuff, rising wedges, which I mean is forecasting, I guess. But any more than that, no. So short ETH. I think you could be short on a lot of things. I do not like Dogecoin. Don't even get me started on Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin is not a scam, but I also never thought Dogecoin would have done 1,000x or whatever it did. I was buying Dogecoin at a quarter of a penny, and of course I never held. And I had $7,000 at like a tenth of a penny or a quarter of a penny, whatever it was. Back when everyone on TikTok was saying buy $20, I bought $7,000 of it. I just day trade it, sold it later that day. If I still had that, I think at the hot peak, I would have been a multi-millionaire. But whatever. I can't do anything about it. So I don't know. I think Doge, though, I believe they're always putting in new supplies of Doge. And I think, they're always minting new Doge. So that's why it's like it's not a limited supply like Bitcoin is and like other coins are. So there's no max limit, which is, I think, why long-term it can have a rally here and there, could have another 100x. But overall, I don't think it's going to ever hit $1 again. But then again, I said that when it was a quarter of a penny and Liquid it did. So I could be so wrong about it. It could go to $10. I could be wrong. I don't like those, though. No, I have a few $100 of it. I put $100 in just a while back. But I don't really. I'm not going to buy more than that, probably. I think Sheep has more potential than Doge, I'll say that. I also made a lot of money on Sheep, too. I put $4,000 into Sheep before everyone knew about it. Like a few days later, I went on vacation. I looked, it was like 60,000, so I sold it. Again, if I held that, I'd be rich too. I just need to. What I should have done is I should have sold, like my initial investment, or maybe doubled that so I can make money on it, and I should have kept the rest for a moon bag. That's what I'm gonna start doing if I ever get lucky like that again, which will probably happen in the next bull market. NFTs, DeGod, second collection on Solana, Matic. So let's. So someone asked me, I think on YouTube, about XYO. We'll look at that. XYO is another one I really like. Again, I said I'm not gonna put a lot of money into altcoins this next bull run. So like if I put money in XYO, I'd probably buy it like $1,000 when I'm ready to do that. But XYO did break the downtrend that I was telling you it had to break. The fact is it still made a lower high. I mean. But as of right now, you broke that downtrend. Now you're almost getting resistance at this 1 penny resistance, which makes a lot of sense. That's a psychological resistance. And I do XY is one of my more favorite altcoins. So honestly, when I have all the Bitcoin and Ethereum I want, and if XYO is still below a penny, I'm gonna probably buy like $1,000 of it. So nothing crazy, but that's kind of what I want to do, because I do like XYO for a long term, probably for the next few years. Because I do think if we go back to the weekly chart, or we're on the weekly chart, the XYO, the all-time high was 8.5 cents. So, if it hit 10 cents, 20 cents, you're buying it below a penny. That's an easy 10 to 15x, maybe 20x, depending if it keeps going lower, and then you sell at 10 cents. I like XYO a lot. It has a good use case, so this is one of my more favorite coins is XYO. You guys can't even see the chart. I'm sorry. But weekly chart is turning down, so you can probably get better prices, as is the daily. So you can probably get better prices than XYO, and you're struggling to get above a penny. So I like it, but I do think short term, you're still going to get better prices on XYO. Just alert on CTX. Just got an alert. Let me go look at CTX. I don't know what CTX is, but let's go look at it. So, how much is CTX up today? 26%. So you never want to buy something that's up 26%. It's a good way to lose all your money, unless you have a stop loss in, but still, probably just can't get stopped out if you're buying something that's up that much. Look, well, it's, I'm not saying the run's over, but unless you break $4.87, that's a lower low, which is not bullish then for CTX. So, and plus, I'm just going to say this one time. You want to get your alerts, you want to buy when it's on the low, and you don't want to get an alert and then FOMO in right now, because, this could be a lower low or a double top, and then you're out. So I would say if you get above $5 convincingly, then that's another story. If you hit $5 or higher, then you could actually say that's a huge breakout on like the daily or weekly time frame. But until that happens, to me, this is just another a lower low. So until you really break $5 convincingly, this is not bullish until you break $5. So that's CTX, but it is trying to have a rally. But I don't know how much steam has left in it. Let's go to the smaller time frames and see. A 4-hour chart. Actually, 4-hour chart has a lot more momentum, so that is a good sign. And the 1-hour chart is spent. It could get pinned in at the top, and the 4-hour chart could take over, as could the daily. I mean, actually, overall, the RSI does not look bad on this. But if you break $5, then I would say that you have a legit breakout on the macro time frames. But until you break $5, it's not a huge breakout. So, oh, congrats, man. If you're up 20%, that's awesome. I would get out then. Especially in a bear market. 20% gains in a day, it's not easy to do. So, I do think I don't know about the merge. That's not going to flip it. But I do think on the macro time frames, Ethereum has a very good chance to flip Bitcoin. A very good chance. So, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But I think it's, I don't think the merge is going to be the reason. If Ethereum does flip Bitcoin, I don't think that's why it's going to happen. But I do think it's possible. Let's look at the market cap for Bitcoin really quick. Market cap for Bitcoin is right now 382. It's going to be easier to actually see this on Coinbase. Let me do something. I'll be right back. It's taking forever to load. So market cap for Bitcoin right now is 382 billion. So the market cap for Bitcoin is 382 billion, and the market cap for Ethereum is about 180 billion. So that's not that far out. I do think Ethereum will flip Bitcoin one day, but it probably won't be for at least till after the halving, and that's just my guess, though. And I don't think the bottom's in, but don't take that as financial advice. So, if there's any other requests, let me know. Otherwise, this has been a very good stream. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate if you like and subscribe. And I will be live. I'm live on Mondays and Fridays. So, I'll see you guys on Monday for our next live stream. I don't feel any way about Quant because it's just another altcoin in my opinion. Like I said, I'm probably becoming this bull run more of a Bitcoin maxi, or I'm gonna hold the top 10 coins this bull run, and maybe I'll dabble a small percent of my portfolio in other coins. But I think I'd rather be safer this bull run than I was last one. So Quant, it's another altcoin to me. I don't love it at all. What type of TA do you use? The best kind. I look at the stock RSI. That's the indicator I use the most. STOCH RSI, and that's the one I rely on the most. Then support and resistances, and then of course let me show you guys something. I'll be back. Well, actually, what I was going to show you is upstairs, so never mind. I won't make you guys wait that long. But it was like a little chart I had that showed you like the rising wedges and what a falling wedge looks like and all that stuff. So maybe I'll write it down and remember to show you guys the next live stream. But it basically shows you all the patterns you need to know. So I do pattern trading, support and resistances, and use RSI. And I'm probably going to start here in the next few days just trading Bitcoin in the bear market by shorting it probably and longing it. You already asked me this question. I don't use GAN rays. At one point I tried to use GAN fans, but I don't. I thought that was kind of stupid the longer I did it. I already looked at BICO, so. Okay, I'll look at BICO again, but I already looked at BICO today. Coinbase, BICO, it's at 55 cents. I told you the price had to be. What did I say the price? What did I say? I don't remember what I said. We go to the 1 hour chart. I mean, it's having a nice rally. What's it up today? Let's look. 15%. You kind of want to beat this. You almost got a double top here now at 64 cents. So that's the price you want to beat. If you beat that, your next target 77 cents for a. That's your next resistance. So, but first things first, if you can't beat 64 cents, that's a double top. So overall, BICO is still not bullish until you at least get a little bit higher. And we're still nowhere near that. $19.3 for Bitcoin, and then after that, Bookmap is saying like 14, 15K is possible, and I think 85% from the all-time high would have put you around $10,000. So I'm just being realistic. Usually Bitcoin goes down 85% in the bear markets, and I believe when I did my math, it was $9,000 to $10,000 for Bitcoin. So, and I also think there's some sort of gap down there, CME gap around $9,000 or $10,000. Maybe it was 9,500. I don't remember the exact price from probably 2 years ago, whenever Bitcoin was 10K. That was when I got into Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at 7K when I got in, 6 to 7K. So, guys, with that being said, I think that's kind of all I got today. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. But otherwise, if you guys have other comments, other coins you want me to look at, I can look at them off stream because I do have to get going. So with that being said, I'm going to end the live stream. Thanks, guys, for joining. I will be back live Monday. And I'll tell you guys the time. It'll probably be a night stream on Monday, but I'll let you guys know the Telegram group. But for right now, let's just play a night stream on Monday. But with that being said, guys, thanks, guys, for joining. I will see you guys in the next one. And I'm going to end the YouTube stream right now.